Hello and welcome. For this video I'll be taking a look at the RG Strike with the Skygrasper unit as well. So this will be like a double review of two different boxes. Okay, so as you can see here I have them slightly mixed up. So I have the Aile unit on the Skygrasper, you have the launcher unit just below, and the sword striker unit is on the strike itself. So let's just have a little look at what else comes in the box for this one. There isn't too much, it's mainly just attachments and a few extras. So you have your landing gear for your Skygrasper, and then you have your two beam sabers used with the beams you have with the Aile Strike. You have your fist hands, and then you have your old style real grade multi-posable hands. Let's start by having a look at the strike and see how it moves. I will say the build of this one I really did not enjoy, especially from building so many of the newer kits. You can feel the looseness on the joints already, and it just needs a little bit of tightening up just to make it feel that little bit more, that little bit stronger. So starting off with the head, reasonable movement for the older kits. It's the down, up, all the way around really nicely. You then go to the shoulders and they're just on a clip, so you just slot in and they move up slightly. The arms, pull that off. The arms just come around, they don't come out at all. So when we put this on, see the movement all the way up. So that is about as high as you're going to get it, so that is quite good. You then have your, back in, then you have your rotation at the top of the arm. You have your double bend here for the elbow with a bit of armour separation. It's one of those bits I really like with the older real grades, you see a lot more of that. And so that's there. Also some of the parts are a little bit loose and tend to fall off. This bit does tend to come off from here every now and then. So then the hands on a ball joint, just like you see on most other kits. And so these are with the fixed posed, sort of close-fisted hands. There, that's gone again. So the waist unit has a little bit tilting back and a little bit more going forward, and there's another base falling off. So it does come down quite nicely for that, that's not too bad. And then for the rotation, that's about as far as you're going to get it, because it does catch on some of the other parts for the kit. Then on the back, just to see that, so you have just the thrusters and the attachment point there for the striker units. And if we have a look at the waist unit, so see these are just on a ball joint, so these can just come up. The sides are on a little ball joint. Do you find they do get a little bit obstructed, especially because the way they're attached. So you can tilt them to the back and to the side just to give a little bit more room. And it's where these are just attached on the side here like that. Yeah, and that's come off again. I'll leave that off for now, and that off. So with the leg movement, without it all on, you do get an awful lot, but realistically with it on, I'll show you with this side, you get about that sort of height on the leg up, so it's not that bad at all. And then you have your knee bend here with the moving armour section, so you get quite a bit of movement on here and then on the actual knee itself. So I'll just close that down so you can see it again. So the first bit, and then the second bit just pulls it out a little bit more. There we go, and have a look at the ankles. So it's your side to side. Your ankle armour is just on a little actual attachment which links into the back of the foot, and you can just pull that all the way back down, toes bend back, but there is no little movement there, so back skirts are the same. They are a little bit obstructed again because of where the actual ball joint connector is. So on the way back, it's quite good still, but it could be a lot better if that was to come out a bit more. And there's another piece falling off. I have noticed that with this, there's a few pieces which are very loose, which I may end up just gluing on just to save the time just going forward. And just one other thing, you do have your knife inside here. I do prefer how the knives work on the force impulse. They tend to look a little bit nicer, and they tend to lock in a bit easier as well. And here we have the Skygrasper. So let's just have a quick look at what this one has. So the wings will fold back and back out again. The armour and weapon attachments units, these lift up and pull out. You then have thruster on the back that moves up and down. You have your top mounted cannon, which spins pretty much all the way around and has a little bit of up and down, and then you have these side cannons which lift up slightly, and then you have your cockpit which you just lift up and then fold up like that, and that just locks back down again. Here we have the Skygrasper with the Aile Strike unit attached, so I'll just take this off and so you can see it a little bit more clearly. So you have the shield attached on the side, the beam rifle on the other side, and there you have the wings for the unit. It's got quite a nice sleek look with this here. I do like this use of it. And then just to detach them, the back will just pull off, and then you just clip out these. It's there, so I'll just put this back on here and move that out of the way. So for the rifle, you have a small little clip on here which just goes over the barrel of the rifle, and that you just take that off. And then you have the same sort of thing on the shield, where you have just a small little ball joint which just clips in to here onto the mounting point, and then that just on there. And then you have your Aile Strike unit itself with your beam sabers. This will move up and down. Then you have your wings which go up a bit, down, and can actually come in, move forward and back slightly. You then have the thrusters which are on a ball joint, so they have quite a wide range of movement. So they come from here to there, that's the limit on the ball joint, and then they can go all the way around. So to equip them onto the strike, it's quite an easy process for this one. So you have the Aile unit, which just clips in just like that. And there you have it. So we'll just put that back on its base. And then to equip the shield, you will then use this little attachment, and then that just fits into the hole on the back of the shield, and then this will then clip into the hole on the back here. And that will just fit in just like that, And there it is, equipped with the shield. So for the rifle, you can use the normal sort of real grade hands that come with the strike itself, or you can actually use the specific holding hands which you get with the Skygrasper unit, which I do tend to prefer. So I will just get those. So that is your two-part hands, so you can just put that in and then sandwich them over, and that holds it into place. You can use the peg inside there as well, just to give it a little stronger grip, but just for this I'm just going to leave it without that, because that peg is a right nightmare to use. That's the other thing which is a bit annoying with these kits. It's the same on quite a few of the older kits, where the little armour section which goes over the actual arm to the hand is a separate piece and it's just floating. So we'll just leave it like that. So there's the Aile Strike with the weapons equipped. Now we have the Skygrasper with the Sword Striker unit equipped. There you go. I will pop this off just to show you how it all removes. So for the shoulders section armour, you pop the sides of these off, and then you can just pop that top section off and just put those to one side. For the sword itself, you have this little hinge up here. So I'll just show you that again. Folds out there, and then you can then pop the unit out from the back, and then underneath you have the little grappler shield. So there. So with the movement here from the backpack, I'll show it on here a bit easier. So you have this little hinge on here which just goes down and up, and that's all you have from there. But on the sword itself you have a couple little bits. So you have this section here which you can lift up and close down, and then you have a rotating section here as well. So you can just maneuver it around. So now let's equip this onto the strike. So let's just pop this off for now. So for the shoulders, first thing you're going to want it to do is just clip on that section there, and then take the side bits and just clip that on. It has two holes it will clip onto, so it is quite a relatively strong hold. So there, like that. Then you can lower that down. You have then got your beam boomerang up here, which you can just slot in there, out of the way. And then I will turn this round and can just equip the sword strike unit. So there it is. And then for the last bit, I will just pop this back up here. So to equip the shield back on, you remove the little section you use for equipping it onto the Skygrasper, and then you get this small little piece which is a mix of a ball joint and a peg. So you pop the ball joint section into here, and then the peg clips onto the back like so. And so with this shield you've got a little bit of a gimmick where you can pop off the end of it, and you have these little grasping sections, little grappling hooks. So You also get a wire with this, so you can then just push the wire into one side and then the other goes into the unit here, and it is quite a reasonable wire. It's not too heavy, so it doesn't really need to be too strong, but as you can see, it's got quite a nice look to it on that. I quite like leaving it out with that on display, and it hasn't sagged or wanted to drop at all. Okay, so now let's just have a look at some of the extras with the boomerang. So here you go, and then you have your effects parts, so just grab the right one, so put that in there. So there you go. It's quite a nice effect part on that one, so you can just take that back out, and then we'll go onto the sword itself. So for the sword, you just take that off, and I will be using the hand, which I got from the rifle before. So for this here, you can use the peg, which is a little bit more recommended for this one, and that just slots in. So, and then just sandwich down the fingers over the top, and there you go. And I'll just grab the small bit of armour for the back of the hand, and it goes onto the arm, and that just clips on there, and there you go. And so for the FX parts for the beam itself, these ones aren't too bad at all. You just push that in there, and then that just clips in there. So there you have it with the beam effects on for the blade. And then you have, for the last bit, you have a beam which just attaches into the back of the handle, so like that. So move this off for a better look. So there you have the beam at the back, and then there is the beam effects on the blade. Obviously, out of all of the three different versions, I do like the sword striker unit on this one, especially for display with that shield and its little grapple arm. It looks really quite nice on it. And here's the last unit, the launcher unit. Okay, so let's do the same again, and we'll take this off again. And so you can see you have the shoulder unit here, and then you have the launcher with the backpack behind. So to remove these, I'll start with the backpack. You just pop that off like you have done with the others, and there is quite a bit of articulation on here for these. So you have on the top here, it's on a ball joint, and then this has a rotation all the way around. You then have another bit of a movement at the top, so it can lift this all the way up, and then move it around again, so you get a little bit extra. Then there is a bit of rotation all the way around at the very bottom section, and then you have this ball joint here, which it moves all the way around and can also move out to the side like this. And that can then just spin around and turn around. Then it has like a little locking mechanism here, which locks in here, so it has that look to it. So now let's take off the shoulder armour. So that just pops off, but with this one, unlike the other units, you have another separate section you have to attach, so you just have this bit here. So I'll just put the Skygrasper to one side. So we'll now have a look at it with the strike unit, with the strike itself. So First thing we're going to have to do is lift up section here. I'll just remove this from the stand for now. So this is going to want to go inside here, so we just want to move this up, and then this is going to want to go inside and then close down. And you can then use the attaching point here, and then that just clips on, and you can just fold down and up the armoured wingtip sections. And there you have it. There it's got its 2 missiles and its Gatling. And then we'll go on to the backpack, which has just the same attachment like the others have, and that will just clip into the back just like that. So this is where you can have a bit of freedom for how you actually equip and adjust it. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit fiddly, so I'm going to have to use the holding hand, which I will just attach on. So that's taking off the section here, which is the handle for the launcher, and then clipping in the hand, and then just doing exactly the same. You just sandwich it in and then clip that back onto the launcher. I'll just remove the old hand and then fit that over here, and you can just move the arm around just to line up a little bit. Takes a little bit of maneuvering, and then you can just fit that back in. I'm not the biggest fan of how this sets out and how it connects, that's right, but you can get the idea for it. With a bit of time, I can spend a bit of time just to get the to get it to fit just perfectly. But it's not my favourite attachment. It's quite clunky with all these sections here. Okay, so for a few thoughts on this, taking into account it is an older kit and it was released quite a long time ago. It was the 3rd kit, I believe, and the Skygrasper was the 6th real grade release, so a lot of technology has moved on since then. It is very finicky, the kit. It's not quite as strong. The legs in general, especially on the hip and how they connect to the waist unit, aren't as good as what you would see in more recent kits, so it's just something to be aware of. The kit itself looks amazing. Once you've finished it, got it into a nice pose, it will look nice on your shelf. The Skygrasper is a brilliant, really nice build. It's something a bit different. It's quite nice to build sort of like a fighter, which is in a larger scale, so it's like having a core fighter that's just bigger to build up. The weapon pack units, I think the Sword Striker unit is definitely the better unit. The the strike launcher unit is nice. It's got some good separation on the colour, but I find it's just all the green is in one colour and there isn't much separation to that side. So if you want to make it stand out a little bit more, it might be something you want to paint. Other than that, the yellow does contrast really nicely with it, and it is quite a nice striking effect it brings to it. The Aile unit is really nice. It's probably one of the better ones as well. It's got a nice range of movement, but with anything with these sort of backpacks, you're going to want to have a stand for this to display it on. You will find them wanting to lean back, and after time the joints will want to fall apart on you, so it won't want to stand up straight for very long. So having it on a stand will help keep that and give it a bit more longevity as well. It's not putting as much pressure on the joints. So for this, I would say if you like Seed and you like the strike, go ahead and get this kit, if you haven't already, that is. If you are umming and ahhing about whether to go through the back catalogue of real grades if you haven't got any of them. This is one I probably would say to miss unless you are a big fan of Seed. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and see you again next time.